Getting diagnosed with glaucoma feels like the world just changed, but no one really tells you how fast it can happen. If you just got that diagnosis, this is what I would tell my younger self. When I first heard the words, "you have glaucoma," I didn't know what to think of it. I thought it was your ordinary disease or your ordinary eye condition. I just went about it unknowingly because before I even had glaucoma, I had kidney transplant, which led me to take steroids, and that steroid was called prednisone. And what you all guys know, when it comes to steroids, long-term steroid use does cause disaster on your body, because it did lead to me having glaucoma, which I have is called steroid-induced glaucoma. So when I did pick up and learn about me having glaucoma and fully understand it, you can guess it. It was kind of too late. I already lost 70% of my vision in my right eye. That wasn't the most happiest moment in my life. It was probably one of the scariest moments and something I couldn't forget, because you don't think of glaucoma as something being very serious, especially at a younger age for me at 14 years old. And you're probably wondering to yourself, how did I just get this diagnosis? And you're in this stage of your life that you just got this diagnosis and you want to know what to do, what to go about it, what kind of medications, and how you can treat your eyes and make yourself feel better. This is where I would tell my younger self and go back in time to make sure that I can be more cautious and be more worried about my eyes, so that I don't take my eyes for granted. Because hearing those words of "you have glaucoma" and not really taking it into importance really made me lose a lot of my vision, that 70% in my right eye. And that is not something I want you to overlook. If you do overlook that, it's gonna damage you long term. So when you first hear these terms, "you have glaucoma," you just got this diagnosis, what do? Well, first, just make sure you're fully aware that this is gonna be a condition that is gonna be long term, and you're gonna be on medications such as eye drops and maybe pills. There's also gonna be treatments like laser and surgery. These are things that doctors don't even tell you about until later down. Not only that, you don't even know about the many appointments that are coming along with this disease. When it comes to glaucoma, you deal with medications, multiple appointments, multiple treatments, and not only that, you also dealing with emotional and mental damage as well. What I mean by that is, whenever you hear glaucoma and you have the fear of losing your eyes, you start to think about the future, you get anxiety, you get worried. Can I see in the future? Will I lose my vision? What can I do? You get all these questions. You start to Google, you start to go on YouTube, start to figure out ways to make sure that you can preserve your vision. These are some things that no one tells you about that's included in part of glaucoma. And this is one thing I wish people told me about when I hear about glaucoma, but I had to learn this the hard way as I grew older, that I started to become more fearful and more scared and more anxiety prone because I didn't want to lose my vision in the future. These are just some things to take in precautions. That's what I would tell my younger self, and that's what I would tell you as well. Whenever you get the words "you've been diagnosed with glaucoma," just know you're gonna get this emotional battle, this mental battle. You will have these appointments that will start coming up more frequently, maybe every 3 months, every 4 months, every 6 months. But it's gonna become more frequently because you gotta get your eye pressure checked, which is also your IOP, to make sure it's maintained in an optimal level. However, even though you do have it at an optimal level in normal ranges between 14 and 20, sometimes you can have normal tension glaucoma. And this is one is going to be very scary, because this one you really have to get checked frequently. I don't want to scare you, and I just want you to know that it's important to get your eyes checked if you do have normal tension glaucoma, because you have symptoms of glaucoma such as your blurry vision, your peripheral vision slowly going inwards. What I mean by that is, think of your eyeball as a window and the curtain slowly closing in. Your peripherals are slowly closing in pretty much. And that's what you don't want to happen. And that means your optic nerves are getting damaged. Well, that's when it comes to normal tension glaucoma, or just in general with any glaucoma. But it's just to be precautious what kind of glaucoma you have and make sure you know these treatments and options to take care of. So these are the kind of things that I wish people told me about, and I wish that people could tell you as well, because it's important to know these when you first hear the words, you have glaucoma. Who wouldn't want to know about these things? And I would also recommend that you join Facebook groups. I personally myself am in Facebook groups such as glaucoma support groups and people living with glaucoma, just because you want to be within a community that understands your vision and understands your health. Because if you're surrounded by communities that don't understand you, you just feel like an outsider almost. What I mean by an outsider is that you just don't feel like you belong because no one understands you. Sometimes you could be doing one thing and you can't see something, but people don't understand you have glaucoma. Like you could say like, hey, I'm blind, I can't really see it. And they won't know that. So it's good to really surround yourself and they'll understand that you have glaucoma, you can't really see, you have eye pain, your peripherals are low. So surround yourself with a community that understands your situation, your disease. That's important too. These are just some things that I suggest doing because it will help you mentally as well. So those are just my few tips, and those are some things I wish the doctors told me, or just people who told me in general, because when I first got diagnosed at 14 years old, no one told me. And when I first started to get more serious into glaucoma, as I mentioned, I lost 70% of my vision already, which was too late. And I really, really, really want you guys to take your vision seriously, because when you first hear those words, it's important to take it into consideration, because you don't want to go through all these scenarios and start to be wondering what's going to happen. And another few tips that I do suggest is that not only to join support groups to make sure that your mental well-being and your surrounding self community is, whenever you learn about glaucoma, is start to ask questions. Ask your doctors important questions about what kind of treatments that you can do for your glaucoma, what type of glaucoma do you have, and how serious is your glaucoma, and what is a good range of IOP is your glaucoma, and the condition of your optic nerve, because each person has their own severity. So it's important to make sure that you understand your own condition, because for me, having steroid-induced glaucoma, I can tell you one thing, but it may not work for you unless you have it in a different way. What I mean by that is, say, for my glaucoma, it's stable right now, around 15, 13, 14, around there, and it's steroid-induced. So if I tend to mitigate steroids like prednisone, my optic nerve and my pressure will slowly get better, but my glaucoma is not completely gone, because right now it's closer to an open angle glaucoma as of right now. However, sometimes I do take coffee and caffeine items, and some people do suggest don't drinking coffee, don't drink caffeine. So each person has their own condition and their own severity, so it's important to make sure that you understand your condition. These questions are important to ask. And not only that, some other tips is to make sure that you find the right doctor for you. Not all doctors are the same. Trust me. You'll go through multiple doctors and finally figure out one that really, truly cares about your vision. One doctor could overlook your glaucoma actually and just look at it as, oh, your eye pressure is normal. In reality, your optic nerve is getting damaged. So make sure you're finding the right provider and doctor to treat your eyesight, because not all doctors are treated equally. And you want to make sure you have a doctor that's really friendly and make sure that they understand you, because not all doctors are like that. They're just in it for the money, because in the healthcare system, it's really not the best, especially in the US. So these are just my recommendations and what I would tell my younger self and what I would tell you if you just got diagnosed with glaucoma. If you enjoyed this video, please drop drop a comment down below, give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe, because I really want you to understand your own vision and things that you can do to save your vision and make sure that you can see the world and make sure that you don't lose your sight. Because I started to slowly learn that vision is something that we have to slowly save, because if we don't save it, we can't see anything. And it's scary to just have your vision from being able to see 100% to not seeing at all. So please just save your vision. My goal is just to inspire at least one person or give hope to one person only. So if this video inspires you or gives you some type of hope, that's all that matters to me. So if you do have questions, feel free to message me directly. You can message me on Instagram. You can email me as well. So my goal is just to be there for you, because I know this disease is hard to understand. So I'm here to be able to empathize with you and make sure that you don't feel alone. Thank you.